just realized how petty I am. In the commercial break, BB Shea was asking, like, what song is that? Was playing one of these music pieces, to go into and out of commercial breaks, and BB Shea was saying, what music was that? And Chris Demm was saying, it's this or that. I never know. They're just in front of me, and I hit a button. And, Dave does all that stuff. And Chris Demm always knows the root of the song. And he said, and then BB Shea said, I thought it might be Dave Matthews. And I say, Chris Demm doesn't like Dave Matthews. I always do that. I'm always like, because I figure that BB Shea, for whatever reason, I don't know him very well, try not to get to know people. And I figure you like Dave Matthews. So when I don't know, you just look like you have that round head.
I got that look.
You got that look. You look like a guy who would follow somebody for a year on concert tours.
No, yeah, I got it.
I mean, I do. I think you have that shaggy, like I've got a beard.
Sleeping out in tents.
Yeah.
Sandals, not bathed in 3 days.
Yes. I can
raggedy
see
hair.
that from you.
Yeah.
So I thought he's going to like Dave Matthews.
Chris Demm doesn't like him.
First thing I say. All BB Shea says, I thought that sounded like Dave Matthews. Chris Demm doesn't like Dave Matthews.
That's a sixth grade thing to say.
Yeah, really? I mean, really? Why do I say that? Chris Demm doesn't like Dave Matthews? And I keep track of what everybody likes and doesn't like. I have a really good friend, Coop. He doesn't like Queen. And he just told me one time, they're not my favorite. That's all he said. So one time we were driving to the beach on beach weekend. We do a guys trip.
As adults.
And it was me, Diesel, and our friend Coop in the car. And we're listening to the radio, and Bohemian Rhapsody comes on. And I say, and Diesel says, this is one of my favorite Queen songs. And I say, Cooper doesn't like Queen. I mean, he had told me that 15 years ago. He just some Queen song had come on, and he's like, I can take him or leave him. And I said, Cooper doesn't like Queen, and he just looked at me like, what? And I said, you don't like Queen. You said you didn't like Queen. When did I say that? 15 years ago. I always do that. I do that to people all the time.
Yeah.
One time,
you love spilling tea, as the kids say.
I will spill the tea.
Yeah.
One time, Dave said he didn't like that song. And Walk the Dinosaur by Was Not What. Everybody Walk the Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that's obscure.
Okay, I don't even know how it came up, but Dave said maybe on Put Up or Shut Up or something. Dave had said it, and so then 10 years later, Everybody Walks the Dinosaur comes up. We were at a party, and it starts playing, and we're in a group of people, and I said, Dave doesn't like this song. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, what? He goes, I like it okay. I said, that's not what you said. That's
5 years ago.
That's not what you said 5 years ago. You said you didn't like this song. I always keep track in my head of who likes what. Wait a minute, you didn't say that.
Yeah.
Like he could change his mind, So right then, I want to create a rift between BB Shea and Chris Demm, because it's obvious you all are getting to know each other better, and I don't get into that. And you're
I've been trying to use this opportunity.
Yes.
Look, BB Shea's filling in ably for our man Biggie.
Yes.
Who's on his own timetable to come back when he's ready.
That's right.
So every day I try to learn more about BB Shea. Yeah. You put your headphones on, Kelly, and ignore.
And sit down. And I want to drive that wedge between you. So when you say, it sounded like Dave Matthews. Chris Demm doesn't like Dave Matthews. And then in the ultimate slapback, BB Shea says, I don't like Dave Matthews either. What? How can you not like Dave
your
Matthews?
seed didn't grow. No. Your seedling did not grow.
That's right. And a lot of people now are emailing me saying, it's obvious Biggie's been replaced. He's gone. He's never coming back. I hear that all the time now. That's not true. That is not true. Mm-mm. We're trying to keep his memory alive and keep talking about him.
He even calls me Biggie from time to time.
I do, once in a while.
We're going to keep it alive.
I call you Biggie. We try to keep that memory alive. And everybody's emailing like, it's so obvious. You've just canceled him, and he's just going to fade away.
No. Not accurate.
Not accurate. He will be back. And
when he's ready.
When he's ready to come back, he will be back. It may not be too long now. It might not be. We'll just wait and see when he's coming back. Speaking of people who have left shows, this may be the softest soft copy of the year. Maybe. Okay? Kim Cattrall is now saying why she left Sex and the City.
Oh, my gosh.
I feel like I've reported this before. I'm the one that's on this.
Well, if memory serves, what you said 5 years ago was that she didn't think the character would be believable at such an advanced age.
She's 65 now. She is 65.
Yes.
And her character, if you don't watch
the sexed up horn dog,
she is really the one that loves sex. So, I mean, they all do, but she is the one who would sleep with anybody on the show. And yes, she had said that, but There was also a falling out, between her and
Personally.
Sarah Jessica Parker. But the reason for the falling out, she told this to Variety. Variety.com interviewed her. And she said what really happened was they came out with a script for the third movie. They did 5 years of the show. They did 2 movies. I thought the first movie was good and the second movie was awful. And Sarah Jessica Parker, I think, really wanted to make it right by doing a really good third movie. And I heard Sarah Jessica Parker once say we had a fantastic script for a third movie, but Kim Cattrall would not sign on. And Kim Cattrall says the reason she didn't sign on was that the storyline for her character was that her friend's character, Miranda, has a 15-year-old son who sent her unsolicited wiener pictures. And Kim Cattrall said, I'm not going to do that with this character. I don't think that's good for the show, the movie, the character. She goes, it's not interesting. I don't like it. And then she said, why don't we do something less sexual with the character? Like she owns her own PR firm. Why don't we have that fail and see how she struggles with that? That was her idea. And they said, no, we love this idea of the 15-year-old son of your best friend sending you his wiener picture. And she goes, that's disgusting. I'm not doing that. So she wouldn't do it. And they loved, everybody else, especially Sarah Jessica Parker, who is the executive producer, loved the script. They had a falling out over that. Then they had more personal issues, and they never made the movie. And then when they came back with the reboot of the show, Kim Cattrall was not in it. She wouldn't be in it, and that was it. So she's not going to come back to it. Unfortunately, I always think it's interesting when actors say, I won't do that with the character. I always just felt like you do, you play the character, and whatever the writer, producer, director calls for, you just do it. They just tell you, here's what you're doing this season, and you do it. But she wouldn't do that. I guess she got to the point where she was powerful enough. So I don't want it
if the kid was a little older, I'd probably say the fact that he's 15 is a little problematic.
That's too young to me, too.
Yeah.
That's too young. I mean, it is interesting, though. I mean, what would you do? I felt like that was an interesting concept, but just what you said.
Yeah.
If he was 18, okay, do it. Let's see where it goes.
He's 15. That's a little...
15's a little... I mean, that's such a serious thing.
Yeah, exactly.
For a kind of a lighthearted show. Though they do. I mean, they go pretty deep sometimes, too, into issues. I kind of liked where it was going, but like you just said, too young.
I can't remember if you've seen these. I know that I've every now and then, like when the new series would pop up, that kind of thing, or they would talk about the show. You would see these series of articles about how Samantha was actually the hero of the show, and everybody else was repulsive to her and around her, and slut shamed her. And Leslie.
Well, they did do that. I mean, they just talk about who she'd sleep with constantly. She was...
How the Sarah Jessica Parker character was a horrible friend to Samantha.
That's probably true. Sarah Jessica Parker's character is very selfish and, always... It's always about her, She's constantly trying to drive a wedge between the others. She's a lot like me.
Yeah.
She's a lot like she takes up the space and it's all about her. And then when the 3 others try to get closer, she drives a wedge between, by saying stuff like that. Listen, I love the show. She's my favorite character and I love the show. I will go back to watching it, of course. Other people who have left successful shows. Do you know the name Brian Dunkelman? Brian Dunkelman was the host of American Idol for the first season. He and Ryan Seacrest.
That's right. They shared hosting duties.
Duties. And he's been interviewed now for years. Everybody has said, why did you leave that show? It was a huge success. So first season, it's Brian Dunkelman with Ryan Seacrest. They both host it. Second season, he's gone, never really heard from again. And he's finally said, look, they decided to go on with one host. I said for my career that I left the show because I wanted to sound like I was in charge. So in the interview, he says, that backfired on me.
They were just going to keep one or keep both, and they decided to keep one. But I released the statement that said I was leaving. So all of that just came off of my shoulders. Like I did not make a mistake. They were going to get rid of me anyway, and I did not know that. So it was like 1,000,000 pounds off of my shoulders.
But for years and years, everybody said, "Oh, you're crazy! You left the best show." He shouldn't. I don't think he should have released that statement saying he left on his own accord, because now everybody said you did such a terrible life decision to leave the show. And then he said he got depressed and it led to drugs. He wished he was still on the show. But now he says he's fine with it because he's the happiest he's ever been in his life. Then Seacrest, of course, has gone to...
He's Mr. Media.
Huge. Oh, my gosh.
He's now maybe the king of all media now.
He may be. I mean, he does radio show. He's on with Ryan and Kelly.
He's Mr. New Year's Eve.
He's New Year's Eve. He's the Dick Clark for this generation. We know a little something an insider told us about Ryan Seacrest. I'm not going to share it with you, but a great story about Ryan Seacrest. Actually, he told somebody we know when he was like 19 years old. He said, "I want to be the Dick Clark of 20 years from now. I want to be hosting all these shows." And then he did. You know, he made himself into that. Leaving a show and then trying to come back to it. You're not going to know this guy. Richard Thomas played John Boy Walton. Okay, you're not going to know him. He's
one of the most popular dramas of the 1970s.
The Waltons have a Thanksgiving episode coming up this year, and Richard Thomas will be back as John Boy Walton.
Thank God.
Yeah, he's coming back.
How old is the actor now? 70?
Probably. You should watch an episode or two of Ozark with your wife. I know she watches it. He's on the last 6 episodes or so.
You're kidding?
No, he plays. He plays Jason Bateman's father-in-law. He plays his wife's father.
Is he recognizable, or does he have
he is
different hair, longer facial hair, that kind of thing?
No, he is recognizable. In fact, the first scene he was in, which was last season, I said, "Where do I know that guy?" And within about 2 minutes, I'm like, "That's John Boy. That's John Boy Walton." I hadn't seen him in 50
It's an iconic character.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen him in forever. BB, you watch Ozark?
No, I didn't. No, I never got into it.
Have I asked you that before?
Probably.
Yeah, I think I've asked you like 3
Usually
times.
people who watch Ozark ask everybody if they've ever watched Ozark. Seems to be a common thing. I'm so happy it's over. I'm sick of hearing about it.
You're just giving Kelly a nugget that he'll drop like at a lunch meeting in 3 weeks.
Yeah, or years.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 years.
3 years from now, somebody in that lunch meeting will say, remember on Ozark when Jason Bateman and I'll say, BB Shea doesn't like Ozark.
100% true. Put that in an envelope, seal it, and open it.
BB Shea doesn't like when people talk about Ozark. That's what I'll say. BB Shea doesn't, he's not into Ozark. Somebody leaving a show. Dr. Phil. Listen to what Dr. Phil does. And he's not leaving his own show. He left Oprah for his own show years ago. Listen to what he does. You talk about the opposite of Chris Kelly. The gratitude this man shows to Oprah. And he was on with Kelly Clarkson yesterday. 2 media heavyweights. 2 talk show heavyweights. Kelly Clarkson with Dr. Phil. And she said, "Do you ever have any contact with Oprah?"
I do. You know, Oprah and I met in the late 90s. Then, I started doing the show and then started doing the show a lot. And then we launched the show. And, it really changed my life a lot. And it's just been really important to me every year to stop, sit down, and write her a letter and say, "Thank you for the impact you've had on me and my family." And I've done it every year for 25 or 26 years. And I've got this value, don't forget who brung you to the dance.
Yeah.
And I've never let her think I forgot who brung me to the dance.
That's right. Isn't that something?
It's a country song.
Yeah, that's right. 25 years in a row.
She helped make him I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he's
close.
Got to be close.
I mean, he's a multi-millionaire.
He's the head of an empire.
Chris Demm and I met him years ago.
Was it like the second year? No, it was the first year we were doing this show?
Maybe. I mean, it was
like spring of 99?
That's right. And we went to, the bosses here said, "Your show is failing. We need to send you to a convention to try to do something, to drum up something. We got to get something going. How about going to there's 200 DJs going to Dallas. You guys go." We had started the show in January. This is probably April or May. So we went, and there was Dr. Phil. And I had seen him on Oprah. Chris Demm hadn't, okay? And I saw him. I said, "Oh, my God, that's Dr. Phil." He had the microphone.
He was like the head of a session.
He was leading a session on how to get along with your coworkers in the studio. He was, that's his thing. He is like a
psychological background.
Right. So he did all that. The mistake he made, and Chris Demm pointed this out at the time, DJs are always inner fighting, petty. We love to hear themselves speak, of course. And he had the microphone, and somebody raised their hand. He goes, "Let me just give you the mic." And he never got it back. And we sat there for
45, 50 minutes?
At least. I mean, an hour.
While DJ after DJ just filled the room with insufferableness. "I have a problem with my partner when sometimes the partner doesn't." Oh, God. And we couldn't leave because Kelly and I were like the third row.
Yeah, we couldn't leave.
We had great seats.
And it was just Dr. standing there. You know, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And all these guys were talking about how they hated each other in the studio, in the room. And then
Sometimes when he's talking about his kid and I feel bad because I don't have a kid.
yeah. This guy from Cincinnati said to me, I've seen that guy on Oprah. And I said, Chris Demm doesn't like Oprah.